ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਪੁੱਤ ਮਾਤਾ ਕੀ ਆਸੀਸ ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਰੋ ਤਮ ਕਉ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਸਦਾ ਭਜਹੁ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Guru Pyari Sath Sangat Ji, we are here together again in our last few sessions of going through the Gyani of Panth Mata Sahib Devan Ji. We have about 2 more or maybe 1 or 2 more sessions of this pothi, and then that would be the samapti of our whole long journey of today. It has been 24 days, and it's amazing how much kirpa Mata Sahib Devan Ji had done on us to be able to go through their Gyani, to get to know, to be chosen to learn about them. It's indeed something that we should not take for granted, because there are so many people out there that there's so many sangat, even Amritari themselves, and even if we did not go through this Gyani, we would not even know about we would not know anything about a person that we call our mother. It's it's our responsibility to build a connection with our mother, to get to know who is she, and in return we are the ones that are going to benefit from it, because we are the ones that are going to get the blessings from Mataji. So we are extremely blessed to be able to do that, to be given this opportunity by Mataji, and perhaps it would be the highlight of for me it would be the highlight of my year, to be able to learn so much about Mataji, and to be able to understand why do we see Mataji to be such a high esteemed person. It's because the Gyani, when we go through the Gyani, just like the name of the pothi itself, it says Pavitar Jeevan, and now we get to see actually how is the Pavitar Jeevan. Yesterday we saw how Mataji, we saw her Hukamname, and in the Hukamname we get to see how Mataji used to write and what did she say to the Sangat. So we saw yesterday there was from this Hukamname, yesterday we only did the Hukamname because it was quite long. It was 8 Hukamname, and it was addressed to the Sangat of different areas, and it was issued for different reasons. For example, it could be to we saw few different reasons yesterday in those Hukamname. So first that we saw was to inform, to acknowledge the daswand that has been received from the Sangat. Secondly, to basically if there's a need of any seva, then they would issue a Hukamnama as well, telling the Sangat to send the swand. And thirdly, we saw when there is affairs to be done, there is some certain task. For example, we saw where there was a need to build a well, and then Mataji issued a Hukamnama to that place, that instead of sending the daswand to me, to the Gurukar, use that daswand to build a well, and if it's not enough, put the kharcha on the sarkar, on us, and we would fund the rest of the building of the well. And Mataji also said, build a good well. So there was these three different types of reasons that we saw. And also other than that, we saw this whole, the way of writing the Hukamnama was almost similar in all the 8 Hukamname. We saw that the Hukamnama would firstly start with Mataji's Nishan, where Mataji herself would write in her own handwriting, and that is to mark that Mataji is indeed truly from Mataji. That's her Nishani. And then the rest of the Hukamnama would be written by a Likari that sits there, and Mataji tells the Likari what to write. And that is a normal, that is how most of the Hukamnama used to be written. So in the part where the Likari writes, we can see the Hukamnama always starts with Mataji giving a blessing. Mataji would mention the name of the place, the Sangat, and they would say Rab Thonu Paramatma Rakhe, Akal Purkha Rakhega, things like that. So she would always start with blessings, and she would refer to the Sangat as Akal Purkh Ka Khalsa. And then she would go on, and she would say that then we saw that she always start with blessing, and then she would tell them that before she even go to the Daswanda, she always gave this one bachan, and this bachan is almost in all her Hukamname. It says Guru Guru Japana Janama Savarana, and this update is given in almost all the Hukamname. So that shows how important it is it was for Mataji to tell her children to practice this, and is indeed something that we should take back as well from the Hukamname. And only after that, Mataji would go to saying the purpose of writing the Hukamnama, whatever that's needed, whatever that has been received, and then Mataji would go on again, ending the Hukamnama with blessings again. She would say, "You are my Puttar Farzand, you are my beloved children, and I'm very happy with you." And then Mataji would say that whoever that gives the swanda, they would be deeply blessed. They would get a lot of barakat in their karobar. Their kirt kamai would be good. And then Mataji would end the Hukamnama in blessings as well. So these are some things to note, that the Hukamnama starts with a blessing, it ends with a blessing. And then we also saw how systematic our Panth was at that time, because we had such a high accountability, and because Mataji used to specifically name the Mevra, name the Ardasya Singh that is going to come to collect the Daswanda. And she even acknowledged the money that has been received. She also tells what has the money been used for sometimes. And she, even when they're asking, they would tell why is that the swanda needed, for langar or something. So it shows there was a very proper system of how things were run in our Panth at the time. And another thing was, when Mataji, when the Hukamnama ends, there's always a number, and the number always it would tell the number of lines. It would be written Satra. Satra means line, and then it would be, if it's 11, it means the Hukamnama is only supposed to have 11 lines. If there is 12 or 13 line, it means that the Hukamnama has been tampered by someone. Someone has added something to it. So that is how much of a whole systematic process that they had to write the Hukamnama, and then they had the date as well. So we saw from this Hukamnama that Mataji is issuing it, and she's often giving it as an instruction. And this is an important time, Sangaji, if we mentioned this yesterday as well, because this is the time when the Khalsa, there was this transition after the physical guru, the last physical guru, Kalgitar Padshah Ji, after their Jyoti Jyot, the current guru that the Sangat had, and even now we have, is the Shabad Guru. And this is the time of the transition, but we still have this, we have the Matama aiding the transition, so that the Sangat, they still have someone, even though Guru Maharaj has left their physical body. Physically they are not on this physical world anymore, but the Sangat still had a support. and their support was the Matama, the Mahals of the Guru, and they led the Khalsa for many years. And that is very exemplary, because when we say that our history, we often say Bibiyan are not properly represented, they are not given proper voice. So when we are saying all this, we need to remember, sometimes it's not that they are not represented, it's just that we are not reading enough history. We are just not going through enough history. So perhaps if before this we never knew that the Matama led the Panth, so that shows how much of inclusion the Bibiyan was given in our Panth. So we never had it was never a choice of it's just based on gender, but it's always based on merit. So if Mataji, because they are the Mahal, they are the Adi Shakti, and they were indeed deserving to be the person leading the Panth at the time. So Mata Sundari ji, Mata Sahib Devan ji, they were given the honor to do so. Even Guru Gobind Singh ji Maharaj even said to Mata Sundari ji, "You are my Roop." So, and they said to Mata Sahib Devan ji, they said to the Sangat that whatever Mata Sahib Devan ji says, it is the same as Guruji themselves saying it. So that means a lot. That tells us how we have all this inclusion in our Panth already, and so basically the Bibiyan in our Panth, they are represented in a proper way as well, wherever there is a need. And today we would see some noteworthy Upadesh that we can learn from this Jeevani. And the author, Baba Surjit Singh ji, they always emphasize on taking away the teachings from a Jeevani, not only getting to know the story, but also after going through the Jeevani, we should have something that we are taking away from this whole Jeevani. So let us go through that, and before we start that, let us focus our dhyan on Panth Mata Sahib Devan ji's holy charan. Dhan Dhan Mata Sahib Devan ji, 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 Dhan Dhan Mata Sahib Devan ji. Satnam Sri Vaheguru. Kable Gaur. So Kable Gaur means the Upadesh that is worth to pay attention on. आत्म उपदेश पेश संजम को जाप सो अजपा जापै पातशाही 10वीं ਦੇ ਮਹਾਵਾਕ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਢਾਲਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਅਤੇ ਅਗਾਹ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਬਖਸ਼ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਚ ਦੇ ਸੇਧਕ ਮਾਤਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇਵਾਂ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਪਰ ਜਿਤਨਾ ਸੰਜਮ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਉਤਨਾ ਹੀ ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੁੱਤਾਂ ਧੀਆਂ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਗਿਆ. So the author is saying that the whole, when we saw how disciplined Mataji was in her whole Jeevan, how clean her whole Jeevan was, how Pavitar her Jeevan was, and this, even though we have seen it in our Mata, and this whole, all these traits, all these virtues is carried down in her children as well. So today, even the children of Mata Sahib Devan ji, they are carrying these virtues as well. They are living a Pavitar Jeevan as well. They are still children, sons, putta, tiya, Khalsa. So the Khalsa is still continuing these virtues that was given by Mataji. Mahavak hai Mata Mata Pita Santokh. So it's a Mahavak that tells us Mata Mata Pita Santokh. Khalse da Pita. So who is the Khalsa's Pita? Dashmesh. Kalgitar Padshah ji, the Pita. Santokh da Samundar hai. So our father, it is say here Pita Santokh. So our father is the epitome of Santokh. And if we see, we can see why is that Kalgitar Padshah ji is indeed an epitome of Santokh. Even though they had everything, they was detached from it. They were detached while living with all the padarat, while having everything, they were detached. And even when they did not have anything, they were alone in the Machiwada jungle, they were still in Chardi Kala. So they are the epitome of Santokh. They always had this sabr. They were never greedy. So that's why Kalgitar Patsha Ji is our father. So they are the epitome of Santokh. And then Ate Ma Mat di Murat hai. And the mother is the epitome, the image of Mat, of basically Buddhi, wisdom. Khalsa vi akla di sikhar ho vichriya. So, and the Khalsa has also learnt this from the mother, from Panth Mata Sahib Devan ji, because the Khalsa also is very wise. And there's an example given here. आहा थोड़े समय दी ही गल है मन्ने पर मन्ने बहुत ही बड़े वकालती जेठमलानी नू गुरु के खालसा ने लाजवाब कर दिता सी. So basically this person Jethamlani, so this is an incident that happened in 1984. So this lawyer, he was talking a lot of bad stuff about the Sikhs and stuff. And the Sikh of the Guru at the time was Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Pindrawale. They basically answered this lawyer with so much of proper facts and with charisma and proper. They basically had a proper argument for all the arguments that was being laid by this lawyer, until this lawyer was bejawab, la jawab ho gaya. He could not give any answer in return. So basically this is giving an example that even until now the Khalsa is embodying this wisdom from the mother, from our mother Panth Mata Sahib Devan ji. We are getting this buddhi, this akal from our mother, and we are learning Santokh from our father Kalgitar Patsha ji. माँ ने कुआरी काया दे महावाक अनुसार अथाह आचरण रखिया ਅਤੇ ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਜਤੀ ਸਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ. So they say Mata ji, they lived like a kuari kaya. Kaya is the sarir. So basically because she was we said kuara, we said this word before when we started the Jeevani, kuara dora, kuara dola. So it means Mata ji was a virgin bride. So she never had any physical relationship. So she was Pavitar all the time. So in the same way, even the Mataji's children now, there is no one as Jati Sati as the Khalsa as well. So what does Jati Sati means? Just Jati Sati means to be chaste, to be basically if the person is married, to only be with the one partner, to be loyal to the one partner. And if the person is not married, to see everyone as the brother and sister, and to not have these lustful thoughts on everyone. So in that way, the Khalsa has always been Jati Sati. So that's why they are saying, because our mother was so Pavitar, she lived her whole life with so much of honor. Now the children are also learning this from their mother, and they are living the Sucha Sacha Jeevan as well. They are only with their one. If they are married, they are only loyal to their one partner, and if they are not married, they are just loyal to their pati, their real Paramatma pati. The Bihangams, they are loyal to their husband, the Paramatma, and if the person is married, then only to their spouse. And that is a very uttam guna that is in the Khalsa. This is something that why the Singhs of the time, they were highly respected and looked up on, because this is a trait that even when they go for war or anything, the Bibiyan that of that place where they capture, they would not see this Bibiyan as something as an object. They would not see them lustfully, but they would protect them like their sisters. So this is a very important guna. And where did the Khalsa get this guna? They get it from their mother, because their mother always lived a Pavitar Jeevan, and we should as well. ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦੇ ਵਿਰੋਧੀ ਕਾਜੀ ਨੂਰਦੀਨ ਵਰਗਿਆਂ ਕਹਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਭਚਾਰ ਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. So there was this person who was basically the enemy of the Khalsa. His name was Qazi Nuruddin. Even though he was the enemy of the Khalsa, he said, in the Khalsa there is no such thing as vibchar. Vibchar means to have bad thoughts, to have lustful thoughts, to have basically not good thoughts on the other person, on the other gender. Because जो दुश्मन दी धी भैन नू भी अपनी धी भैन समझदे ने. So even our enemy is saying that in the Khalsa, one of their major extremely good trait that they have, even the bibia of their enemy, the Singhs would never look them in a bad way. They would always see them as their sisters, and they would protect them as well. So the author is telling us that all this is because of the kirpa of our mother, and we should adopt this from our mother. This is one of the very important teaching, and it makes sense why it's mentioned first, because the name of this pothi itself is Pavitar Jeevan. It is teaching us how to live a Pavitar Jeevan, how to be the proper children of Mata Sahib Devan ji, and how we should also keep our morals high. इतना ऊंच आदर्शी होन नाते आद शक्ति माँ दा पुत्र खालसा. So even though the Khalsa, the child of Mataji, is at a very high spiritual level, they have very high morals, still जद शामी ही रहराज साहब दा पाठ करदा है तां गुरबानी दी पावन सिक्ख्या. Fair we still, even though they are already very good, the Khalsa, they still say every evening in the Rehra Sahib, Jap tap sanjam dharam na kamaya. They say, we have not meditated, we have not practiced sanjam, self-restraint, we have not kamona dharam. Seva sadhana janya har raya, we have not done any seva, we have done nothing. Kaho nanak hum neech karamma, our karam are very low, our actions are very low. Sarana pareki rakho sarma. And they ask for the blessings of Maharaj to bless us, to give us the ability to do good, to be dharmic. And so it's because the Khalsa, why are they doing this? We would see why. Ap mutabak apne aap nu man niva mat uchi ansar taal ke vicharda hai. So it's because the Khalsa, we always practice mat uchi man niva. Even though the Khalsa is at a very high spiritual level, they are doing all this already. They are doing japa, tapa, they are keeping the sanjam, they are doing seva, sad sangat and everything. But still they say we are the lowest, because the Khalsa always keeps humble. They don't have ego of the good that they do. So that's why the writer is saying, even though the Khalsa is really exemplary to even our enemies, but still every evening the Khalsa would do ardas. They would repeat this, they would say this in the Rehra Sahib, saying that we are still the lowest, and that is how humble the Khalsa is, and we should be. And when we talk about sanjam, we spoke about sanjam few times, and it talks about basically to have your self-restraint. It's different from when you have the fakir, the sad, they go into jungle, they don't see anything. But it's different from staying in the world, staying in amidst of all the Kaljugi events that is happening, and to basically go beyond this, to be detached, even being in all this, to basically not be attracted to the things that the whole dunya is attracted to. So that is what we call sanjam. And there's actually this slok by Bhagat Kabir ji. They very nicely explain how amazing a person with sanjam is, because they say, Kabir jag kajal ki kothadi and tare tis mahe hon balihari ten ko pais jo nikas jahe. So Kabir ji says, if you have the world is like a room, and it has a kajal. Kajal means kalas. It means the suit, black. So Kabir ji say the world is like a room, and it's filled with this whole suit, and it's very black. And usually the blind, if you can't see properly, and if you get into this room, you fall down, all this dirt would get on you. So that is how a blind person would be if they enter this black room which is full with dirty soot. But he said he is a balihar janda to these people who they don't avoid this room. They enter this room and yet they come out without having any of the soot on them. Basically, they pass through this room so carefully that none of the black soot would touch them. And that is how a Khalsa lives. That is how the Ucha Sucha Jeevan of a Khalsa is, because we don't run from the world, we live in this world. So the Mahapurush always tell us that the Kaljug is not bad, because Kaljug is just an age, and those who have the Sharan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Kaljug can't do anything to them. So that's why Mahapurush always tell us that do not say that if we are in Kaljug we are helpless, because we have such a great Guru like Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, and they are there for us. That's why we don't have to worry about which age we are in, how bad the world is, because at the end of the day we have a great Guru. And actually the Kaljug, it's a very long Sakhi, but if you go through the Sakhi of the first Shabad in Sri Rag, in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, so in that Shabad, if you read the Uttanka, so the Kaljug, when it came in the form of a Rakesh, he had an agreement with Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying that if he wanted to offer something to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, and in the end he had an agreement with Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj saying that Kaljug promised to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj that I would not disturb your Sangat that utters your name, that basically meditates on you, meditates on your Naam, and they are in the Sad Sangat, I would not bother them. So that's why Sangat Ji, we don't have to worry about Kaljug if we follow the bachan of Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And another last thing on this subtopic is that Mahapurush always also tell us that if you are facing a condition where the vikars are disturbing you so much, or you are feeling so much of effect of Kaljug, then you should remember this Sakhi, and then you should utter Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, and that would help you to ground yourself, because the Kaljug, it would not have an effect on you when you are uttering the name of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. So these are some things that we can practically practice in our life when we are facing such tough conditions. Because again, when we go back to where we were reading, we are reading that the Khalsa has a very high character, very high taram, and yet having all that, they are very humble. Mata ji swa simran de abhyasi. Mata ji had simran going through in her every breath. Sada hi Sri Dashmesh Swami de darshan kar nihal rehnde. She was always satisfied doing the darshan of Kalgitar Patsha Ji, even though they were there physically or they were not there physically. She always had the darshan of Guru Maharaj. ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਫੁੱਲਤ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਸੰਤੁਸ਼ਟ ਹੁੰਦੇ. And the Mataji, even now, they are always happy seeing their Khalsa, their child is basically is having kamyabiyan, they are gaining more success, they are spreading, there are more and more people that are more and more Sikh that is joining the Khalsa and making the Khalsa's name basically Roshan kar diya na. So in this way, Mataji is happy seeing her Khalsa being in such Chardi Kala, and she is also always happy because she, even at that time when she was leading the Panth, she was already seeing how the Khalsa is doing a great job. For example, she hinted on Baba Baghel Singh Ji. She knew that her child, the Khalsa, would sort everything out. So when there was, we saw in the previous sessions, when someone built a mosque at the area of the Shahidi area of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the Shahidi Asthan, Mataji said, do not worry, because my Khalsa would sort it out, because she knew her Khalsa is reliable. ਯਾਦ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਗਮਨ ਕਰਨ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਚੁਗਲਖੋਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਮਾਤਾ ਜੀਆਂ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਦੁਫਾੜ ਪਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਹਰਕਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਤਾਂ ਮਾਤਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇਵਾਂ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੰਥ ਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਜਾਰੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਚਨ ਕਹੇ so after the Jyoti Jot of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, so there were some people who were basically, they were not with good intentions, and they tried to put fark, they tried to make Mata Sundari Ji and Mata Sahib Devan Ji have difference among them. Basically they tried to make them far away from each other in terms of, they tried to tell, like they tried to put ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਰਕ ਪਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ so they tell like Mata Sundari Ji some things that Mata Sahib Devan Ji said, or Mata Sahib, they basically ਚੁਗਲਖੋਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ, they were gossiping, they were doing ਨਿੰਦਿਆ, but it is very exemplary at the time. Mata Sahib Devan Ji, she wrote a hukamnama to the Khalsa, and the author always tell us, the Baba Surjit Singh Ji Mehron wale, they always say that you can see this as the 9th hukamnama in this pothi. It says, Guru ka ghar ik janna, see the Guru ghar as one, bikharewa nahi pauna, don't try to put differences among us, aise shatran to bachna, keep yourself away, save yourself from this kind of people that are trying to put difference among us. Sundari ji di agya ona di hi agya hai. They say whatever Mata Sundari Ji says, whatever that is in her instruction, that is also my instruction. It means that we are one. Don't try to separate us, don't try to put difference among us. So this is showing that even when people try to break them apart, try to basically make difference among them, Mataji was very firm that she and Mata Sundari Ji is going to live together as sisters. And this is another teaching for us as well, the Khalsa, that we should live with love with each other as well, because we are the only thing we have in this whole Kaljug is each other. We have Paramatma and we have our Khalsa family. If we are not living together with love with each other, what else do we have left? We need to be happy for each other, and we need to push each other to basically improve our own spiritual journeys, while also helping our siblings, encouraging them as well to move. So this is very important Sikhya as well, because Mataji herself, she lived with so much of love with Mata Sundari Ji. So this is a very important virtue that both of the Matama had. They never had any argument among them, and they were always, even if they have, they solve it, and they never have a big basically fark between both of them. जो आप माता सुंदरी जी दी आज्ञा ले हर काम कीता, everything that she wants to do, she would ask the आज्ञा, the permission of माता सुंदरी जी first. ਮਾਤਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇਵਾਂ ਜੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਾਰੀ ਹੋਏ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ ਜੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਹਨ, ਤੋਂ ਭਲੀ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਪੰਥ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਤਨਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ. We can see from the ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ how much of love ਮਾਤਾ ਜੀ had for her children. ਹਰੇਕ ਲਿਖਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਫਰਜ਼ੰਦ ਹੋ ਦੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੇ ਬੋਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲਿਖਦੇ. She always say you are my beloved children in all her ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮੇ. ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਲਈ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇਗ ਤੇਗ ਫਤਿਹ ਕਰੇ. She also gives this blessing saying may your deg and teg, both of them always stay in ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ. ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸੇਵਾ ਲਈ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਿਆ. She always basically encouraged the Khalsa to do more and more seva. We can see in the Hukamname, Mataji always say, "E vela seva karan da aaya wa." She always tell the Khalsa that this is your time to do seva. This is the opportunity for you to come forward and do the seva. ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਪਾਣੀ ਲਈ ਖੂਹ ਲਗਵਾਉਣ ਵਰਗੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਕਾਰਜਾਂ ਲਈ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਜਾਰੀ ਕੀਤਾ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਖੂਹ ਨਵਾਂ ਬਣਵਾਈ ਦੇਣਾ ਅਤੇ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਲੱਗੇ ਸੋ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਲੇਖੇ ਲਗਾਵਣਾ. So Mataji, she even led initiatives or like affairs task like building wells, and she made sure that all this task are done well. Even just to collect the Hukamnama, we saw how much of system the whole Hukamnama had. She made sure that everything is accountable. There is proper name of the Mevra and everything, so that no one tries to basically cheat or take money behalf on Mataji when she is not getting it for the daswand of the Guru Kar. ਸਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਕਥਨ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਿੰਗਾਰ ਉਦੋਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਗਲ ਪੁੱਤ ਰੂਪੀ ਲਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਾਰ ਹੋਵੇ. So the mother every time the mother, when is she happy, when is she satisfied, and when does she feel that her purpose of life is complete? ਹਰੇਕ ਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਲਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਆਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਸਦਾ ਲਾਇਕ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰੇ, ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਰੱਖੇ. So a mother, she always wants her child, she wants a child that makes her married life basically it's basically, we can say that it makes her married life complete, and more there is this whole opportunity for this mother to basically be a mother, and that itself is a very high darja, it's a very high title for a woman to be a mother. So that itself is an amazing bakshish from Guru Maharaj. And then what is a desire? First she wants a child, and then she wants the child that she has to be someone who is good, who has good character. Basically, it's a layak puttar, basically a good child. And they say ma de sheer means milk, someone who keeps because when a child is getting milk from the mother, that's why they say ma de sheer nu pavittar rakhe. Basically another way saying that to keep the mother's name high, to basically not embarrass the mother, to basically not do things that would bring down the honor of the family, the honor of the mother. So in this way, these are the things that would make a mother very happy if the child is a layak one. Khalsa Jio. So in this way, why are we talking about this? Because who is our mother? Our mother is Panth Mata Sahib Devan ji, and we are the children. So our responsibility is basically to carry our mother's name in a very high manner, that we don't, basically no one can say that is this the child of Mata Sahib Devan ji, is this how the Khalsa is like. So it's our responsibility that all our actions, whatever we do, whatever we speak, whatever we do in our life, it should reflect the way we would want to reflect our mother, our father, our gurus. So this is the sikkha that the author is giving us in this book. Khalsa Jio, aj tusi vi apna farz nu sambhalo. Take care of your responsibility. What is our responsibility? Safdan hovo, be guarded, be ever ready. Tuhada param dharam hai ke your highest, your biggest dharam is Gurdev Mata Dharmi Ma de Hukma te pehre devo. They say pay obedience on the hukam that your mother has given. Jo adarsh. So what are some of the bachan, some of the teachings that we should take from Mataji? Seva, Simran. So seva, to do Simran, to meditate. Rahni, Behni, Sehni, Kehni. So all this four, Rahni, Behni, Sehni, Kehni, in generally it means to be very disciplined, to have your Rahni, Behni very good, to basically the way you sit, you stand, the way you deal with people, the way we talk to people. That's what they say, Kehni, how we talk to people, Sehni, how we tolerate what others tell us. And these four, Rahni, Behni, Sehni, Kehni, these are the discipline of the Khalsa. We need to be in a way, we need to have this very high character, that whenever people see the Khalsa, they would see, oh, this is the child of Panth Mata Sahib Devan ji. Amrit Vela di Sambhal, to take care of our Amrit Vela. Jat Sat Sanjam, to have high morals, to have self-restraint. Alap Ahar Sulab Se Nindra, to basically eat and sleep less. Thoda svai, thoda hi khave. Jehe ucheche guna sangrahe karne. So these are some of the guna that we can practice and we should practice as a Khalsa to reflect a good image of our mother. Gurbani the adab, to keep satkar of Gurbani, and this is very important. For example, this is something that is basically going out of our community now. It is still existing in the Khalsa Panth, of course, but maybe now there is not enough of prachar that it's given, that it's very important to give satkar to Gurbani, and this includes very small things. For example, washing your hand before holding a gutka sahib. If you go to Gurdwara, if you want to do char sahib, you need to wash your hand, and to not keep gutke everywhere. If you want to keep a gutka, the place needs to be clean. To not put any pictures of the guru or the matama at a place where your feet is facing, where your feet is facing, and to read Bani at your basically the pillow side of your bed, to not sit at the feet side. And these are all things that usually were taught in Samparda or Vidyalaya, and previously they were also taught in Gurdwara, but for some reason now we are not very exposed to this. But it's very important. There are so many Sakhya where Guru Maharaj heavily emphasized that the Sikh that don't keep this adab of me and my Gurbani, they are not my Sikh. And it's very important for us as the Khalsa to keep this as well, because if the Guru is in the form of Gurbani and we are not treating it with respect, it means we are disrespecting our Guru. We are talking about so many Beadbiyan that are happening everywhere around the world, especially in India, but we ourselves, we are doing so much of Beadbiyan as well. What kind of Beadbiyan we are doing? Maybe physically, when we don't handle Gurbani properly by the way we are dealing with Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, the way we don't wash our hands, or we are not clean and stuff like that. And another type of Beadbi is also not getting Santhya and purposely reading the Gurbani wrong. When we know that, we discussed this in a few sessions back, where there was this Sakhi where when Guru Maharaj rescued this Raja from the jail, before that, what this Sikh who was a guard in that jail, he told this Raja to do job, and he told them, if you are to learn Gurbani, it would take you some time, but you can do something that is easier and has the same amount of Shakti as well, which is to do Vaheguru Simran. And that is a teaching that we took away from that session, is that if we haven't do Santhya of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, we shouldn't be doing Sahaj Path. We should instead do things that we know we can do. We have learnt it, for example, Mool Mantar, Gur Mantar, things like that. And we should definitely put our effort to do Santhya. And these are the way that we can prevent ourselves from doing Beadbi as well. Because or else we are doing Beadbi every day as well. Pooj Shastar Piran da Satkar, to do Satkar of our Shastars as well. Nimarta va man niva ate mat uchi, to always be humble despite of having all these qualities. To be humble, to not look down on those who do not have these qualities, and instead help them to build these qualities as well, by sharing it with them, by teaching them, doing it together with them, so that they also learn this, and as a Pantha we can progress collectively, not just ourselves. Mat hondi hoye eana, even though we have this mat, even though if we are wise, the Khalsa always appear to be eana, to just be like a person who doesn't know much, because they don't want to have this ego that we know everything. Khalsa Jio, yaad rakhi, tere vich a gun aad kal to hi samoye hoye ne. So they say, Khalsa Ji, remember, these are the guna that has been in you since the beginning. And what are they? Khalsa nimartawan hai, lekin kamzor nahi. The Khalsa is humble, but the Khalsa is not weak. Khalsa bahadur hai, लेकिन हैंकड़ वाला नहीं. So the Khalsa is a warrior, it's very strong, but they are not egoistic. Khalsa स्वमानी है पर हंकारी नहीं. So the Khalsa, they have this pride. They have this pride of their guru. They have the man of the guru, but they are not egoistic. They are not hankari. Khalsa अनखीला है पर कमीना नहीं. So the Khalsa, they have their ankh, they have their confidence, but they are not kamina. They are not hypocrite. They show what they are from inside. They are not hypocrite, but they try to be pure from outside, but they are the other way around inside. Khalsa hatila hai par ziddi nahi. The Khalsa is hatila, which means hat karke kam karda. If a Khalsa has an aim, they have a goal, they would make sure they are going to do it. They are not going to let it go, and they are going to do hatta and get it. Whatever the goal is, they are going to do it, but they are not ziddi. What's the difference? Ziddi is, for example, even though they are very focused on their goal and they want to achieve it, but they are not ziddi. They are not in the sense of we would die if we don't get it. They have this goal, but they are not attached to their goal. They want to get this goal accomplished, but they are not in the state of they would die if they don't get it. So they also follow the hukam of Paramatma. That's why they say Khalsa hatila hai par ziddi nahi. Khalsa pola hai. The Khalsa appeared to be very innocent as well. Par meesna nahi. But the Khalsa is not chalak. They are innocent. They are genuine. They are pure. Khalsa siana hai. The Khalsa is wise. Khalsa dur drishti hai. So the Khalsa has a dur drishti. Drishti means sight. Dur means far. So the Khalsa is very far sighted. The Khalsa would always see far. They would always see the bigger picture. Khalsa mohimmi hai. Mohimmi hai means to be always ready for war. They are always tiyar bar tiyar. If anything happens, they are ready to give their life for their guru. Khalsa kanuni hai. The Khalsa knows all the law. They know how to live in the world that they are living in. Khalsa zulamate takke shahida veri hai. The Khalsa would never stand any injustice that is done. Khalsa da ik asool hai. Khalsa has one important principle. Pehla marna nahi, pichon talna nahi. We would never do the first war. We would never strike first. But if we are attacked, we would never stay behind as well. We would reply that attack as well. That is why in all the wars, the Khalsa never attack first. They always defend. So if we are attacked, we would always defend, be it in any case. So this is the principle of the Khalsa. Aap darna nahi, kise nu drauna nahi. The Khalsa is not afraid of anyone, and they don't scare anyone as well. Maran wala zalim hai. The person who kills is an evil one. Mar khan wala buzdil hai. The person that gets the mar, that accepts anything that comes on them just like that without responding to it, is a coward. Draun wala murak hai. The person who tries to scare someone is a fool. Daran wala kair hai. The person who gets afraid of everything, he is a coward. Daran wala ate draun wala e dove hi agyani ne. Those who always get afraid and those who always try to scare someone else, they are both agyani. They are both without gyan. They are both without knowledge. They are both unwise. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj da फरमान है, पै काहू को देत नह नह पै मानत आन, कहो नानक सुन रे मना ज्ञानी ताहे बखान. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj has said in their Bani, which comes during the Pog of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they said in the Slok Mahalla Nava, they said that the person who is a Gyani, they are defining who is a Gyani. A Gyani is that person who doesn't scare someone and doesn't get afraid of anyone. So that is a Gyani. जो जो गुण तुहानू दृढ़ करवाए ने ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਨਾਲ ਪਹਿਰਾ ਦੇਵੋ. So the author is reminding us all these traits, all this guna that has been, the virtues that has been given to us in the form of Khalsa, where the Khalsa had been preserving all this guna since the creation of the Khalsa itself. And we have seen the Mata of the Panth, the Pita of the Panth, they have practiced all these values and they have shown us on how to live by practicing this value. So the author is saying, never forget all these values. ਭਾਵੇਂ ਜਾਨ ਦੀ ਬਾਜੀ ਲਾਉਣੀ ਪੈ ਜਾਵੇ. They say, even if you have to give your life, you as a Khalsa, never forget what are your principles and what are the virtues that you are supposed to uphold. Hey Khalsa Jio, Sri Dashmesh Pita da Hath Teri Kand Te. The hand of Kalgitar Patsha ji is always on your shoulder. है अते माँ दी असीस तेरे सिर ते है. And the blessings of your mother, Mata Tantan Mata Sahib Devan ji, is always on your head. So with the hand of Kalgitar Patsha ji on your shoulder, with the blessings of Tantan Mata Sahib Devan ji on your head, live this life as a Khalsa, be a Niara. And it's very important, Khalsa ji, we have seen all these virtues that are showing us how a Khalsa is supposed to live like. And we only get to know this when we go through history. This is why we read history. This is the whole purpose. We go through all the history of the Guru Maharaj, of the Matawa, so that we know what is the Khalsa supposed to be like. And until we don't go through our history, all our ideologies, the thoughts that we have, it's always going to be based on Western ideologies. We can see here how Chardi Kala the Khalsa is. But now, what are we building? We are building this whole victim mindset. And where is it coming from? That was never the mindset of the Khalsa. And we are building this because sometimes we don't know how the Khalsa was, how much of charisma the Khalsa had. And only by going through history like this, we are reminded over and over again that we were in Chardi Kala, we are in Chardi Kala, and we are always going to be in Chardi Kala. Therefore, we don't have anything, we are not victim of anything, because we have so much of Khajana with us. We have the hand of our Guru on our shoulder, and we have Guru Maharaj, Mataji's Asisa on our head. We have nothing to be fear of. And this is where we would pause today. Tomorrow we would see how Mataji blessed their darshan to some Gursikhs, and how we now, if we want to have darshan of Mataji, what should we do? That is something interesting that we would see tomorrow. And we get this answer of how to do the darshan of Mataji from Gurbani as well. So, and that is discussed in the next chapter. So we only have about 1 to 2 sessions more, and with that, any mistake that is done in this whole session, I humbly apologize in the holy charan of the Sangat. And again, may the blessings of Tantan Mata Sahib Devan ji and Kalgitar Patsha ji be on us, so that we too could live in this Kaljug based on the ideology that they want us to be on. Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh.